Welcome top news today.
President Trump during a meeting in the Roosevelt Room of the White House on Thursday. Tom BrennerThe New York Times. This article is part of the Opinion Today newsletter. You can sign up here to receive the newsletter each weekday. When it comes to President Trump and race, there is a predictable cycle. He makes a remark that seems racist, and people engage in an extended debate about whether he is personally racist. His critics say he is. His defenders argue for an interpretation in which race plays a secondary role, such as Haiti really is a worse place to live than Norway. It's time to end this cycle. No one except Trump can know what Trump's private thoughts or motivations are. But the public record and his behavior are now abundantly clear. Donald Trump treats black people and Latinos differently than he treats white people. And that makes him a racist. Is it possible to defend some of his racially charged statements by pointing out that something other than race might explain them? Sure. Is it possible that he doesn't think of himself as a racist who views white people as superior to non-white people? Yes. But the definition of a racist, the textbook definition, as Paul Ryan might say, is someone who treats some people better than others because of the race. Trump fits the definition many times over. Trump's real estate company was sued twice by the federal government in the 1970s for discouraging the renting of apartments to African Americans and preferring white tenants, such as Jews and executives. In 1989, Trump took out ads in New York newspapers urging the death penalty for 5 black and Latino teenagers accused of raping a white woman in Central Park. He continued to argue that they were guilty as late as October 2016, more than 10 years after DNA evidence had exonerated them. He spent years claiming that the nation's first black president was born not in the United States but in Africa, an outright lie that Trump still has not acknowledged as such. He began his 2016 presidential campaign by disparaging Mexican immigrants as criminals and rapists. He has retweeted white nationalists without apology. He frequently criticizes prominent African Americans for being unpatriotic, ungrateful and disrespectful. He called some of those who marched alongside white supremacists in Charlottesville last August very fine people. He is quick to highlight crimes committed by dark-skinned people, sometimes exaggerating or lying about it, such as a claim about growing crime from radical Islamic terror in Britain. He is very slow to decry hate crimes committed against dark-skinned people, such as the murder of an Indian man in Kansas last year. At the White House yesterday, Trump vulgarly called for less immigration from Haiti and Africa and more from Norway. If you think this list is incomplete, email me at leonhart@nytimes.com. For more on this topic, read my colleague Nick Christoph wrestling with the topic during the 2016 campaign. Here we have a man who for more than 4 decades has been repeatedly associated with racial discrimination or bigoted comments about minorities. He wrote, "While any one episode may be ambiguous, what emerges over more than 4 decades is a narrative arc, a consistent pattern, and I don't see what else to call it but racism." And Slate's Jamel Bouie, "It's impossible to know what's in his heart. But what Trump feels is less important than what he does."